So we actually flipped about 18 feet in the air. This I know God's real. 2 trees about 6 feet apart, caught the car perfectly diagonally. Didn't know it at the time, ejected him because he was shorter, cut his throat. So he died on impact. The fact that that's all that happened is like a miracle. They said there was like a 1 in 2 million chance that I even lived that, not let alone wasn't sipping food through a straw the rest of my life. Said I'd literally rather be dead than live another day like this. Chucked a half pound of weed, about 40 Suboxonates, and a ton of Xanny bars out the window while driving on a highway. I'm for any way that possibly helps you personally recover, whether it's, being on medication, being off medication. For me personally, I can't be on anything or I'm a disaster.
Adam Larkin, my man, welcome to Florida and welcome to the Hero Project podcast.
Adam, thanks for having me, brother. Great to meet you.
Yeah, man. I'm so happy you're down. We're going to get into everything, man. We're going to have some fun, the highs, the lows, the uppers, the downers, the laughers, the screamers. What I really wanted, before we get into GET Apparel and we get into all the phenomenal things that you're doing now, which we've been shooting the shit on the side here, I'd love to get like the real backstory, everything from New York to family, addiction, and just let if you don't mind me saying, what it was like, what happened, and what we're like now, and then get into what you're doing and how you're serving so many people.
Absolutely, man. Well, like I said, thanks for having me. Great to be in Florida, especially now that it just started getting colder back in Kentucky where I live now. So grew up in New York, good middle-class family, Saratoga Springs, New York. They actually got the Saratoga racetrack, so it's like a really big tourist attraction for a lot of places in the country. And it's where they do one of the races for the Triple Crown. A bunch of people come up from like New York City, Canada, Europe, like all over. And it was actually, the more I travel, it was a really cool place to grow up. Like you don't realize sometimes how fortunate you are until you're in a lot of different areas. So it's like halfway between Long Island and Canada, like Montreal, about halfway in between, right next to the Vermont border. And grew up there, had every advantage known to man. Realized early on, looking back, that I probably had a problem since when I was 13, me and one of my buddies, Josh Burns, if you do watch this, Josh, sorry for calling you out 30 years later. We went up to his house, man, and he bartended it up. First time ever drinking, I had 14 White Russians in I think 15 minutes. So he poured 15 shots, poured me 15 shots. I didn't get to the 15th shot, but I would never drink a White Russian again, even if I drank right now.
That was Kahlua vodka and milk?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So first time ever drinking, 14 of those in like 14 minutes or something within a 15-minute period. And I just remember like an hour later, remember those cool little like mongoose villains?
Of course. Yeah.
So I had the mongoose villain with the front and the back pegs, the black bike. I'm riding down, I lived in a suburban housing development called Terrell Hills, which obviously there's a lot of hills.
Yeah.
And going back to my house, I just remember hitting like the divot that went into my driveway and doing like a double flip into the grass and laying there for a minute, and then squirreled into the house somehow, got puked on the stairs, got up into my bed and woke up the next day. Parents were pissed, bro. Literally didn't go to school the next day, got grounded and whatnot. And I was like, that was my first time drinking. So it's like looking back, yeah, probably... Definitely.
Welcome. Definitely. Welcome.
Yeah, I definitely was an alcoholic / addict at an early age. Started smoking weed, just knowing what I know now, just wanted to change the way I feel, just fit in. Yeah. And it's weird, bro. Like, as you know, like now I can do that sober. And it's like, I couldn't then. I don't know why. Maybe it was just growing up, going into an identity, school. I don't know what the parameters for it were, but I definitely used to have to even want to feel, which I never got to that level, how I feel now. But that's how I used to want to feel and thought that would make me feel that way. And started smoking weed, started, when I was 16, maybe experiment with like LSD at like a concert, some mushrooms and stuff, just getting wild. And it didn't get out of control until I was 19. So when I was 19, 9/11 happened. I'm 2 hours from there. All my friends, gung-ho to go in the military, serve the country. Everybody's pissed off. They just hit the trade centers. And we're at a party. I had a couple of my buddies leaving for the Air Force, the Marines, and the Army the next day. So we had a big party, and me and my best friend Justin, left the party at like 2 a.m. to drive back to my house. And I looked at him like I'm looking at you. I'm like, bro, you all right to drive? He's like, good to go. Like, looked me in the eyes, seemed totally fine. We leave. My friend Jeremy's like, yo, peel the tires, because he just got like a brand new 98 Grand Prix wide track. And so we peeled the tires. And I remember just looking at the speedometer, now we're going 50, 60, 70. And I'm seeing a stop sign coming up soon. And I know this road, it's got like a hump in the road. And then there's an apartment complex on the right and an apartment complex across the street. And of course, the thing's going to stop. Now we're going 80, 90. And you hear me like a little girl, like, stop, like as loud as I could. And we're literally about to hit these cars parked in front of the apartment complex. He cranks the wheel. Now I look down, we're going like $1.05 at least. And I just remember hearing like pop, 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 pop. The tires. Woke up like, I don't know. It seemed like weeks later, but I guess it was only a day or two, in the hospital on an IV and a morphine drip, super pissed off, and didn't know what happened. And, I didn't realize the outcome yet. So we actually flipped about 18 feet in the air, 2 trees. This I know God's real. 2 trees about 6 feet apart, caught the car perfectly diagonally. Didn't know it at the time. Ejected him because he was shorter, cut his throat. So he died on impact. Me being almost 6'3", jammed me up. So now I got this foot's like up jammed in the steering wheel. The car's upside down. I'm hanging out the driver's side, like halfway, like in between that window. And my elbow's behind my head. I had a compound fracture with my bone sticking out. That's how I got like scar and reconstructive surgery and a skin graft and plates and screws in my arm. But the fact that that's all that happened is like a miracle. They said there was like a 1 in 2 million chance that I even lived that, not let alone wasn't sipping food through a straw the rest of my life.
Wow. That's heavy.
Yeah.
That's serious. You said you woke up angry in the hospital?
Yeah, like I woke up not like at first, but like afterwards almost looking like, where's he at? Because they told me, so here's why. They told me he was in Saratoga. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm in Albany, meaning they helicoptered me to the capital of New York to put me in like a, severe trauma unit or I was going to die. So I'm like laying there like thinking I'm dying. And this dude like broke his pinky or something. I didn't realize they got him his own helicopter. He died en route. And they brought him back to Saratoga. And my parents and nobody could tell me this because they didn't want me to like stroke out or have a, seizure or aneurysm or whatever comes from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was, you're 19 years old.
19 years old, just got my first brand new vehicle. Remember those Prelude VTECs?
Of course.
It was the last year they made them, 2001. I had the 5-speed with the turbo, the DOHC.
You remember.
Yeah. And just got into college, first semester into school. And things were going good, man. I was, at that time I thought it was good, but I was selling, pounds of weed too on the side. And nothing had got out of control at that point until that happened.
Yeah. How long did it take you to recover from that and move forward?
So I was in the hospital, I think like 2 weeks. And then they had like a outpatient nurse like come and like do my bandaging and all my stuff at my house. But how they killed me was this was 2001 when Purdue Pharmaceuticals was pumping oxys as non-addictive substances. Mm-hmm. They sent me home with Oxy 40s with 11 refills. 40s. So out of the gate, first prescription painkillers, Oxy 40s.
Oh my Lord. Well, here we go.
Yeah.
And here we go. You go back to college now?
No, not at first. Like years later I did, but by then I'm in addiction and, I'll take some classes, get the money from the student loans for the classes, not do what I say I'm going to do or go back to the classes, probably put that into drugs or, whatever else I'm selling at that point. And I think I had like 19 credits before I actually got sober when I was 37 years old. It took me 18 years to snap out of that one.
So do me a favor, just because I'm curious too. And I understand, right, a head full of denial or even just, there's just such a lack of awareness and understanding. But you're 19, your buddy dies. You got the oxys. And is there any sort of awareness, any sort of like that I'm going down the wrong path, or was it just like this is life? Like I'm just living.
Well, so at first there wasn't because, I'm taking them like I'm supposed to. Like it says like take one.
One every 4 hours?
Yeah, take one 3 times a day. So I'm
Right.
like, I'm taking a prescription,
Yeah.
Like my deal was like weed and alcohol and stuff at that point, like maybe some acid or mushrooms at a concert, but nothing like, I want to be a full blown, junkie or addicted to painkillers.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, so you go back home. I'm taking it.
Go back home. So I'm with my parents. I had my own apartment too, but I'm staying with my parents because of all this. And, everybody's coming to visit me. It's on the news. It's like it was a big deal. And kind of blame myself, especially for a long time. Like, well, what if I drove? What if we stayed there? What if, we never even went there? All sorts of stuff, man, for years.
That's
and
a
that
lot.
probably fueled how much longer I was in it than I had to be.
I'm sure.
Subconsciously, like looking back now
100%.
that I'm like and able to actually like look back, in real time and be like, I wonder why. That's probably why.
Yeah. A guilt, a remorse, survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
In a way. Not
Right.
that you're consciously aware of it, but it's like in the back of your mind. It's
Right.
deep down there. So, like you said, you're getting sober in your late 30s. How does life proceed after that?
What you mean?
Well,
like
like
in between the car
yeah,
accident
like
and that?
let's say like 20s into 30s, and obviously you're selling weed, but like now we start forming also your personality in a different way. We're becoming men, becoming adults, 20s to 30s. Like, where does life take you?
All over the place, bro.
Go on.
Ups and downs. So like, it wasn't really bad until I was in like my mid 20s, because I still had like the entrepreneurial spirit I have now. I didn't have any morality or conviction or, like, oh, it's only weed or it's only, whatever I'm selling at the point. And I had money. I had plenty of money, like I'm making a couple $100,000 a year doing this. It's not like, I was like struggling, like
Tax free.
right. Illegitimately without Uncle Sam knowing. And, had apartments, cars, jet skis, travel. Like, I was in Vegas. I went out to Vegas, got so oxy to methadoned out. I don't even really remember the night. But the next night, when I snapped out of it, I won $37,000 playing poker. So a week to visit friends turned into 9 months in Vegas.
Love this. Dude.
So that was 23. And then 24, went back home, turned up the weed game a notch, felt like I was catching heat. So I'm like, well, we'll disappear. Of course, where did I come? Right on your other coast. I was in Tampa for almost a year.
Okay.
And lived down on Bruce B. Downs and Bears Ave in Tampa. And not too far from like Tarpon Springs, like that Greek community and, Clearwater.
Yeah.
And got to know Tampa well and, was just hiding out with like 80 grand, just chilling off the grid. This is before all like the super technology came in.
And not selling, just kind of off the grid.
Oh yeah, like literally just taking tons of stuff myself,
Yeah.
Painkillers, methadone, oxys. So I realized that methadone would keep you straight for like 2 days and you got insanely high off of it. So that became my new like go-to. So now I'm working ways to squirrel my way into a methadone clinic so I don't got to go buy all these 40s on the street. So now by 24, I'm taking 160 milligrams of liquid methadone at a clinic daily.
Damn.
Yeah. Like just
Damn.
shot. And then they give you your own little, like, do you want orange, pineapple, or cranberry juice? Like a little kid. So now I'm drinking a methadone and chasing it with pineapple juice daily. Yeah. And that's my life at, 7, 8 in the morning, every morning. Like I got to do this before I can function in life.
Now I'm truly asking this question for the audience, right? Because I know we can identify and we can relate. I actually never thought I had a problem because it was almost like whack-a-mole, right? At this point in your life, are you starting to become aware that do you think you have a bad habit? Do you think you have some form of a dependency? Do you think, okay, I'm an addict and I'm just making this work? Or are you just living?
I was everything you just said.
Right,
but
right.
I don't think I realized it yet because I didn't have enough pain. I wasn't sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I had plenty of loot. Yeah. And I was still, doing what I do today, but totally the opposite as far as like the lifestyle,
Yeah.
Just doing it all in a shady way.
Yeah, of course.
And super high the whole time.
Yeah, but your superpower is your superpower. You know what I mean? It's just you were plugging it into that way. Yeah, but that's still your superpower.
Right.
All right, so we're in Tampa, right? You're off the grid, and life is life, but without condensing it too much, but without over expanding. Try to lead me up now to 36, 37 years old when things are about to change.
Right. So it got to the point so bad by like 36 that I definitely knew. So to answer that question from before, I knew I had a bad problem.
Yeah.
I knew I needed to do something different. You know, been to jail a few times. No long stints, just like a couple weeks or less.
What'd they get you on?
Man, so one time 4 pounds of weed, a
Okay.
different time, possession of heroin, different times 1 million aggravated unlicensed operators, driving without a license, speeding, like just tickets that if I would have just paid, I'd be fine. But I'm just like, I just ain't never going back to that town.
Yeah.
And just a bunch of stupid stuff for the most part. Stealing, by this point, I'm, robbing stuff, just klepto and stuff like it's legit. Half the time, so zannied out, bro. I got $2,000 in this pocket. I'm stealing razor blades at 4 a.m. at Walmart. Like, why? I don't know.
You just answered my question.
Yeah.
I was like, with the money, why are you stealing?
Right. So just like that, entitled and just, I can do anything. Who's going to stop me?
Well, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the insanity of it.
The insanity. Right.
Just straight shot, bro. Walking in like it's legit, robbing stuff
$2,000 cash
that you don't
in your
even
pocket.
need. Like, you know what I mean? Like right now, I need to shave, but I'm not gonna go rob something. I'm gonna shave when I get to the Airbnb later.
Yeah, but that's the mindset. That's where you're at. So, okay, in jail a few times, the insanity. But what really brings you to the end?
So my brother is a good person, like good light in my life. He's actually a biblical counselor. He's got his master's degree in biblical counseling.
Fascinating.
He went out to Kentucky and paved the road as far as me ending up out there. He's lived there since like 2005. So now it's 2018, and I just knew I needed to get out of there, man. I needed to do something different. I'm like literally staying in basically like a trap house, like basement, like apartment, almost to the point of being evicted, being homeless, stuff all over the place. Just like, if you walked in, you'd be like, this is crazy. Not let alone would want to live there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he saw what was going on. He's like, man, let's get you to Kentucky. Let's get a fresh start. Hooked me up out there, came and got me, fit everything I had into his car with him, and we just literally bounced. And I think I left the stuff that probably wasn't even valuable in his storage behind. Of course, never paid that bill. Who knows what happened with that stuff. The thing that did suck is I lost a lot of pictures. So I had like picture albums from like 2 to like 25 that my parents had given me, like really good ones, and 2 of those were in there. So it's like I'll never get those pictures back.
Who knows? Maybe we'll make amends together, and we'll go ask that storage unit if there's anything they have left behind.
Yeah. Well, and that might also be subconsciously now why I video and take photos professionally of everything, because I'm never losing a memory again.
Oh, I love that.
You know what I mean?
Never losing
So
a memory again.
maybe I just thought of that. That's probably another subconscious, like blaming myself, never losing a memory again.
Never. I love that.
And I back up all my iPhones and laptops, so really we won't.
That may be the title of this podcast, Never Losing a Memory Again.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. That's a great quote. Really, it really is. So he takes you out to Kentucky. By the way, I am a little fascinated with his faith, by the way. Now, do you have any faith at this time? Do you?
I believe in God, but I'm not saved, and I'm not at all living like a Christian or like somebody who's like doing something right in life.
Totally get it.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
But yeah, I knew, just me even surviving that and just how I grew up, family, believing in God and stuff. Like, yeah, I knew God was real. I just didn't know God.
Yeah. Well, that's perfect. He brings you out to Kentucky. You get a second start, and right, but it's not the end yet.
No, of course not.
Right, it's
so
not yet.
No, even that took like a year or two. So then it's like, now I'm just doing the same old manipulative deal, different thing. All right, now I got a nice place to stay. I got nice people around me, people that are actually trying to help me, so I can master, manipulate, and do what I do. Get my Xanax, so with this whole time, now that I got addicted to all this stuff, by the end game of getting off the methadone, which was horrible, like literally probably worst withdrawal of anything I've ever came off of in my life was methadone. That you literally wish you were dead.
Okay.
And months to get out of your bones. But of course I didn't wait months. I got on the new miracle drug in 2004 called Suboxone. And so I was on this whole time, I was on Suboxone from 2004 till I got sober. So like probably like 14 years.
Really?
Yeah.
14-year run with Suboxone. Mm-hmm. And you still rather than that detoxing off of that, you still think the other one was worse.
Oh yeah. So the two worst withdrawals I ever came off of for an opiate
Yeah.
is methadone, second Suboxone.
Got it. Okay.
And then worst withdrawal I ever came off of, which we'll come to soon, is benzos like Xanax and Klonopin.
yeah.
So what I was saying was, though, I actually worked the doctors. So while I'm getting prescription Suboxones, I'm also getting 3 Xanny bars a day, 90 Xanny bars monthly for all these years.
Woo!
So this is why I'm doing a lot of the stupid things I'm doing.
Yeah.
And not remembering how I woke up in a jail cell for something stupid, or why I went into Walmart and stole razor blades that I didn't need.
In your brother's hometown. In your
No.
new fresh start.
No, so this is what I was doing in New York.
Oh, got
but
it,
yeah,
got
I'm
it.
sure, of course, I did some of the stuff out there too, and manipulated the doctors in New York to send me these prescriptions. So now I got a Suboxone clinic in Kentucky, in northern Kentucky, next to Cincinnati I'm going to. Then if I want to sell some of these and manipulate that system, I just keep enough Suboxone so I don't, withdraw. But I sell 80% of them and go to Cincinnati and get some heroin or some Oxy 80s or drugs that I actually like that'll get me really high.
Yeah.
And then the whole time I got them sending the Xanny bars, not to Kentucky, but to Ohio, because it's only 10 minutes away, and I go there and pay cash, so that way it doesn't alert the DEA or the Casper reports on the prescriptions I'm getting.
Addiction is addiction, right?
Yeah.
But I do love also understanding how your brain works, because it is going to parlay into what you're doing now. The fact, like just the way you were creative and you were
Right.
seeing the angles.
Using different states and different...
Yeah, but it also shows you that not everyone's that creative, and not everyone's that...
Entrepreneurism's entrepreneurism,
Yeah.
whether you use it right or not.
Not everyone's that aggressive. Some people are literally so lazy they'll just suffer the consequences. You know what I
Right.
mean? But Adam, what really brings you to the end?
So the end, I told you I knew God was real from the car accident. I know
Yeah.
if I didn't remember that, it was reaffirmed when I chucked against any kind of business mindset, against a criminal mindset, against an entrepreneurial mindset. I literally got on my hands and knees and said I'd literally rather be dead than live another day like this. Chucked a half pound of weed, about 40 Suboxonates, and a ton of Xanny bars out the window while driving on a highway, and literally went to a detox for the first time in my life.
Drove yourself.
No, I had a friend drive me, but I chucked this stuff as him screaming, like, what are you doing? You're going to get us arrested? Like, chucking stuff out the window that he didn't even know I had. He's just a sober friend that, was giving me a ride because I asked him to get some help.
That's a moment with God.
Yeah.
And you actually check in the detox.
Check into Detox in Lexington, Kentucky. City, probably like 300,000 people in between where I live now and Cincinnati. It's like a halfway point.
Okay.
Still, even in the detox, didn't really want to get off everything, right? So I'm like, I don't know if I want to get off the benzos and the opiates. I'll just get off the benzos because they're making me insane, obviously, at this point. And I'll keep on the Suboxone. That way, I'm not like dope sick.
Yeah.
So that was my intention. Luckily, God had other plans. So I'm in this detox. I'm coming off the benzos, and it's like a couple days, and I'm like, and of course, I ate a ton of them on the way there. So
of course.
I was probably so sedated for a couple days that's why I was all right. But once I really started like having like the benzo withdrawal, like a few days in, I started scaring people, bro. Like I started hallucinating, and for the audience that doesn't know, alcohol and benzos are the only two withdrawals that you can actually die from.
Yeah.
So the benzo one was scary. Like literally, I was insane to the point they locked me in a old folks wing and like shut it down. And it was like me, like a couple geriatric people, that probably didn't know what I was doing, or it would have scared them too. And I'm, thinking everybody's against me now. I'm all sketched out. I'm like seeing shadows, like stuff that isn't there. Almost what you'd hear about, just from like horror stories, like the old days.
Yeah.
Like these like jails, institutions, or death. Like when I think of institutions, I think of like being like that in a place you don't want to be scared.
Yeah. I'm thinking, it's an old movie, but I'm thinking 12 Monkeys with Brad Pitt and
Bruce Willis.
That's how I'm seeing, right? I'm in a movie with you right now.
Exactly.
Do you remember any of the can you recall any of the psychosis? Can you recall any of the things you saw or experienced, or that's almost like a distant memory?
It's a distant memory, but talking about it, it definitely brings back that, like, I never, ever would wish that upon anybody or go back to that state of mind.
The enemy.
Yeah.
The enemy.
Oh, definitely the enemy, and definitely just, just straight, almost like feeling like no hope, like depressed, anxiety, hopelessness, restlessness, discontent, and sleep deprivation. Up for days and hallucinating, adding to it.
In a wing with old people locked down.
Yeah, like literally not. So I'm like going to like these classes. I'm in the detox. I'm a normal person. I'm outgoing. Like I'm kind of like running this detox show. Then it got to the point where it's so bad I'm not that dude anymore. I'm like hallucinating. I'm all scary. I'm scaring them.
Yeah.
The people that used to like me and were trying to help me. Now everybody's scared of me, and I'm like by myself, like isolated in like a different part of the hospital.
Okay, bring me out of that. How's that?
So one day I just remember. At this point, I would have signed anything. Like I'm a super as far as like signing stuff. Like I don't sign anything without reading every word of it, understanding every word of it, like a contract. Like my dad taught me that as a kid. You know, he was an attorney for the union. I'm like, I'm reading everything before I sign it. Like don't ever sign anything, and possibly even get consultation on signing something.
Good dad.
And not at that point, bro. Like I just saw the words London. I'm like, London, man. I'll get out of this wing. We'll go across the seas. You know, we'll check out the Thames, Big Ben, Parliament, like the whole Chevy Chase riding around the circle deal. Like this will be great.
Look, kids.
Right. Look, kids. Big Ben, Parliament.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm pumped. And no, man, I ended up in the middle of nowhere in London, Kentucky. To these dudes wearing like blue shirts that said Stepworks on them coming out. And I'm like, oh, Lord. Like I thought. I'm like, I never believed in karma, but I'm like, it's coming back. Like, karma's real. They're going to hit me in the neck with the Thorazine shot, throw me in one of these rooms, and this is my fate. And I'm in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky.
Wow.
Talk about scared. Like, that just brought everything else to, and I'm still like, you know, coming
Still
off all the benzos and stuff.
Right,
like,
yeah.
So I'm not even like sane yet. And thank God they put me on like a Klonopin taper. They're like, yo, this dude's so messed up. We need to put him back on benzos to get him off benzos. Because I was on an 18-year run. Like, you know, I was... how we are, you know, Adam, and entrepreneurism, that's how I was in making sure I always had something.
Yeah.
Like literally, except for being in jail, I didn't go without. Like I literally stockpiled stuff.
Yeah.
And then even when I sold it all or, you know, did something shady, somehow I'd find a way to get it back.
What a blessing, by the way, that they recognized and realized the state you were really in and said, okay, to get him well, we're going to have to put it back in him.
Right.
And then taper it off. When does Adam start coming back to life?
Probably about 2 weeks in.
Okay.
It was like a week taper or something. It was like, you know, 3, 2, 1, half, or whatever for like a week. And then a few days after that, and a way slower, not like, hey, let's eat 70 Xanny bars, and we've been eating Xanny bars in unlimited amounts for 18 years, go to detox ourselves. At least this was like the right way.
Yeah.
And on Klonopin, not Xanax. So it's like more of a long-term than a fast-acting. And so I start for the first time in my life getting introduced to like, you know, AA, some meetings, 12-step programs, met a couple of the therapists in there, had lived experience. Like my therapist actually also was an opiate and a benzo addict, also had gotten in a bad motorcycle accident, had his arm all jammed up for the rest of his life, actually like really messed up. And so God knew exactly what I needed at that point, and also had, you know, probably at that point like a decade sober. So not let alone did I see somebody, you know, with something that I wanted, but I realized, started hitting some of these meetings, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I don't have to stay on this Suboxone. Maybe it's actually possible to walk out of this place truly sober for the first time since I've been a teenager. And they were cool in an accountable kind of way, you know, like this was before like all the everybody's feelings getting hurt. You know, they're like, you know, come on, you pussy. Like, what are you taking the Suboxone for? Like, you don't have to be on something. You can be free. And I'm like, that's what I needed, you know, like everybody's recovery is different. I'm not saying anything against any way anybody recovers. I'm for any way that possibly helps you personally recover, whether it's, you know, being on medication, being off medication. For me personally, I can't be on anything or I'm a disaster. So that's exactly what I needed, man. And by the time I left there, still all shaky and whatnot, I had 10 days sober for the first time in 20 years almost.
That's amazing.
Took their advice, went to a sober living. So went through a 30-day treatment. Then I went to sober living in Corbin, about 20 minutes south in Kentucky, and hit the 90 meetings in the 90 days. On foot, of course, no license, no car, no money, everything burned to the ground. Literally just the cool thing about rock bottom, Adam, for me, rock bottom had a trap door and I had to fall through the basement too. But once I found that rock bottom and got out, there's nowhere to go but up.
Let me ask you about something real fast, especially for people watching. So you're fully clean and you're in a halfway house and you're walking to meetings and you're doing the deal. that old ego ever come back? Like, we should be making money, we should be doing this, or were you just so
Oh, yeah.
were you locked in? Were
Yeah,
you just
I mean, it came back, and that was like a daily deal. So just because I get sober doesn't mean I'm all of a sudden like a legit person with integrity, right? So I
Yeah.
still got all these mindsets for the last 2 decades, you know. So I'm still like manipulating people sober. Maybe whether it would have been if I didn't meet a good women, or I probably would have just changed addictions. I can still do that today. You can be a workaholic or a workoutaholic or a whatever aholic,
yeah.
hopeaholic.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Anything.
Yeah. The name of my original book was Lotsaholic because I just did everything a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I said my disease was like just it's our disease, but it was like the Terminator in T2 that it just morphs into any.
Yes.
Yeah, it just morphs in. Okay, now women, now this, now that.
Right.
Okay, so you're dealing with yourself, but you're sober and you're in the deal now. You're in the deal.
Right.
Keep going.
So the game changer for me was I was in there for about 3 or 4 months. Met my fiance, who I'm with now, at a meeting. Great woman. She had at that point about 9 years sober, and she's a licensed clinician, licensed therapist. Had a nice like Lincoln SUV, had her life together. Good genuine person. Like nothing to do with anything materialistic. But you know how our minds work at that
100%.
point. I'm like, she's got everything put together. A good woman will fix me. And luckily, that was like, pause. God's got other plans for you. No one's gonna fix you. You're a disaster. And went to a ministry, bro. So my brother recommended this. Didn't want to go. Once again, God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. If I knew you couldn't smoke, you couldn't vape, you couldn't have a phone, you couldn't have a computer, and it was like off the grid, like old school, like at a ministry for drug addicts and alcoholics, I would have never went there. But by the time I actually got there, I burned all these bridges to the ground. I'm just finding out who I am, kind of a little bit as a sober adult. And finally, I don't want to inconvenience anybody anymore. I don't want to be a burden to other people. I'm a 37-year-old adult. It's like, screw drugs and alcohol. Wake up and be an adult. Like, stop, own your life. You can change it. And so things started, coming in my head. And I get to this place. That's reality. And it was pretty cool because guy's a master carpenter too, who runs the ministry, Dave Norris. And it's in Indiana. It's called
Interesting correlation there, a master carpenter.
Right. And I wouldn't even put this stuff together until at a ministry, exactly. And it's like, guy's 6'8", he was like almost a professional basketball player, college basketball player. He was like a heroin and a meth addict and a big time drug dealer for like 15, 20 years. And then he got sober. He's had, I think, 20 years sober this year. And great mentor in my life, great person, but taught me like structure and accountability and, get up at 6 a.m. This is what we're doing. We're going to go out in the community for 4 hours, serve. So we'd go out, do like rebuild houses. So I learned how to do everything from concrete to framing to all the way to roofing a house with this guy. And obvious at like an apprentice level. Like I'm by no means a master at anything.
I get it though. But
I'm
you're
learning
giving
stuff
back.
that I'd never ever been a part of. And while I'm doing this,
and you're doing manual labor.
I'm getting in better shape.
Yeah.
So, bro, I'll show you like a before and after. After, you'd never believe it. So I was in great shape. I was a boxer. I was a snowboarder when I got in that car accident, basketball player. By the time I was 25, I weighed 284.
Interesting.
Right now, I weigh 210,
Yeah.
maybe 208. And could still, lose 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's like, I got that out of shape. That methadone, though, I'm telling you, will put on weight. And not let alone nowhere near a gym. Lucky I didn't get diabetes probably from what I was eating.
284. I can't imagine you.
284. So like 75 pounds heavier.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so I'm starting to lose weight, starting to get in shape, mind's starting to get right, starting to obviously. So the crazy part was too, there was like 5 to 6 hours of like different like Bible studies and like time there too, to like get in the word, get to know the Lord. We're out in like the cornfields of Bedford, Indiana, I'm like off the grid. And I start learning who I am as a person, like as a sober adult, breathing in fresh air, working out, just being outside, meditating, grounding, prayer, like things that didn't exist in my life, Now it's like I'm hitting the ground running when I wake up, grateful. Even though I don't have anything, I also don't have any burdens anymore. And I'm not a burden to anybody else anymore. So.
Do you start feeling that relationship develop?
Yeah.
It's personal.
It's slowly developing. And then by the time I left there, I was there for like 9.5 months. and got saved, got baptized, after I was there about 6-7 months. So by the time I left, I had like a year and a half sober. Now I got a skill as far as I can go do construction and earn some money. So when I got out of there, I got plugged in doing construction. Now I'm working like 60, 70 hours a week for $25 an hour and just saving everything, because I know like how I am as an entrepreneur. I get a good sum of money. I can do something with it. I just didn't know what I was going to do. Got back into school full time to pick up the 19 credits I had from being 19. So basically I started over in school.
Studying what?
Business.
Okay.
And so I just got my associate's degree was in integrative studies, which is like multiple different majors. But my bachelor's degree that I just got in May was organizational leadership with a minor in marketing.
Congratulations, brother.
Thanks.
Just in May.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
May of this year.
That's amazing.
So I got back into school, but I basically just banged out a 4-year degree in 3 years, just full throttle with everything else I'm doing. I just at night just honed in for a few hours every night.
Close to the Lord. Now in a fellowship, making meetings, construction, like you're rebuilding from grounds. You're rebuilding the Adam I get to know now.
Right. So like the Adam you know now didn't even exist before 2019.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I literally started over like from scratch.
Amazing. When does your fiance come back into the picture?
So I'm in Northern Kentucky. I'm back out close to my brother, right?
Yeah.
So from the ministry in Indiana, and which is about a couple hours from where I went to treatment in London, Kentucky. And I went back down to visit, to see some of the guy friends and whatnot I met through AA and through the meetings and through the sober living, and just say what's up, see who was still sober, and just go visit them. And ran into her again. Now I'm like almost 2 years sober, a lot better shape, a lot better spiritually, and actually have a relationship with God. And, just started talking, slowly. And by the time I had about 2 years sober, I was dating her.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So we actually did it right. No one was 13th step.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like she wouldn't have.
No, she wouldn't have. I would have, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
But-
I'm not talking about you.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
I know where your head was at.
Right.
All right. So anyone that knows you knows GET. So when does this come to life? When does
Perfect timing. It was like my next sentence.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
So in school, back doing the construction deal, got a good chunk of change saved. What can I do with it? Obviously, I'm not going to buy, pounds of weed anymore. We don't do stuff like that. Now we're a legit human being. So start a clothing company, man. What's a good slogan? I have no clue. Me and my sister thinking, and my sister originally, she went in halves with me. So it was me and my sister. So the AJ's clothing company that you see on most of the backs of my stuff, Adam and Jeanette.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then ironically now, eventually I'm sure Adam and Jen, my fiance.
Right. You bought your sister out?
Yeah. Well, she had so much other stuff going on. It was just like, we
It's a
we
gift.
just,
Yeah.
I mean,
She's just happy you're alive.
right. Just
She's
thrilled.
just like, yeah.
Right. Thrilled to be a part of,
Take it, run with it,
she
stay alive.
And so to her and my brother, not let alone siblings, but like best friends, man. Like literally both of them helped me more than anybody, still do. Like talk to them all the time. They're older than me. I'm the youngest by far. She's 12 years older than me. My brother's 14 years older than me. And my other sister, who I don't see much, is 16 years older than me. So they were all 2 years apart.
Wow.
Yeah. Huge influences in my life. And started the clothing company, man. Had no clue what I was doing as far as, running a clothing company. And I'm like, man, I got to figure out a way to market this. I don't got $100,000 to pay some marketing agency to help me out. What do I do? I'm like, well, people are rocking this social media game. So I was sure as heck not on the social media game selling drugs. I'm not trying to incriminate myself on Messenger like you see people nowadays.
Yeah.
So basically I started all the socials from scratch in 2021. And start making videos, start just plugging stuff, wearing gear, get a bunch of different models in the gear. Had my best friend from Boston, dude, super smart. He's a scientist at MIT.
Wow.
Had him do my website on the side because he just does stuff like that on the side because he's got that brain.
Of course.
Right. He just builds websites that look super fire on the side. And started the website, getlive.com, threw a bunch of gear on, ordered a ton of hats, hoodies, beanies, trucker hats, fitted hats, tank tops, T-shirts, and just started rolling, bro. First, I focused on like hard inventory. I'm like, let's just have a ton of stuff. I'll sell it. And then started selling it all, started making videos. A reel went viral on Facebook. So, and the funny thing it was like me reposting like some sick like scooter / like skateboarding trick off some like crazy ramp at like Travis Pastrana's house. 69.9 million plays.
Wow.
We got 46,000 followers on Facebook from one reel. So to the point to where the notifications were dinging so hard that it took like 90 days to stop dinging.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You might be bringing you back, for anyone watching this, and we haven't even got to the end of the story, but it's remarkable. What I did want to ask you, because sometimes people have a difficult time finding that bridge of, what am I going to do now? I'm going to start a clothing company. And then, and then you went on the ride. But was there any feelings, emotions, fear, anxiety about starting something on your own? Or, so many people have that's the fear. There's a block there. And to hear from somebody that really did it, like, were there any mental hurdles? Or was it, maybe for you, was it tunnel vision? Was it you had the blinders on?
It was tunnel vision, but it also had like a purpose and a passion behind it, because it's like, get in the truck. Like, that's what GET stands for. Do something different. Get inspired. Get motivated. Get whatever you want out of life, right? Like,
yes.
Get with the program. Don't get left behind. Like,
yes.
Keep rolling. Sky's the limit. You can do anything you want. Put the work into it, and it'll happen. Believe in God, help others, and God will bless you. And it's like, I just rolled with that full throttle and just used that in everything I was doing, and just that approach. And a lot of the times the memes I'd post, so what I try and do is I'll do like a motivational, positive, inspirational meme, and then I'll do a couple cool reels daily to like keep in the algorithm, like to hit both of them.
Yeah.
But all this stuff I'm doing, I can go back and look at, and it'll help me probably more than it's helping the audience. So it's like just me even saying this stuff and just putting those positive affirmations, visualizations, and just like, positivity behind it fueled me. And it's like, now I just go super hard with that, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's steamrolled into a whole different level. Like, stuff I used to see and visualize is now I'm like passing these points, and it's like crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But I'm grateful that you said that, because I think it's important for people to hear a real entrepreneur's backstory, and to hear what it was like when they started something. Like, what was it? And I love just the fuel, the purpose, the vision. Get in the truck from your sister had just enough fire underneath you where you weren't looking backwards at all. And you weren't.
No.
You just.
Well, and the cool thing is when you burn everything to the ground and you're literally like homeless with no money, there is no backwards.
Yeah.
Like, a bad day in the entrepreneurial world sober, I'm crushing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
What, I didn't sell enough hats, or the video sucked? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
No big deal.
Right.
No big deal.
Rerun.
Right. I'm 210 pounds.
Right.
Yeah,
What do I do to adjust it? Let's go smash the gym and get that normal dopamine and serotonin. Let's go hiking. Let's get sunlight. Like, bro, I'm so busy nowadays. Like you are, Adam. I got to stack goals. So like, I'm calling Adam Jablin to catch up on a half an hour phone call. You better believe it's sunny out and I'm walking while I'm doing it. So that way there's a trifecta, because I don't got time to do everything.
I love that.
So it's like, I got to stack goals daily.
I love that.
It's just, what I've gotten is a lot better with time management. So
Yeah.
things like 3 years ago, I was 4 times as overwhelmed as I am now, doing a fourth of the work. Now I'm doing 4 times as much as I was then, and it's way easier.
You know what I'm hearing right now? The wisdom to know the difference.
Right.
Right? The wisdom
Exactly.
to know the difference.
And a lot of this stuff people don't realize, as you and I do, 12 steps will help anybody, man. You got sober billionaires shooting themselves or jumping out of a window because they don't have spirituality or prayer or meditation or grounding or breath work or the gym or hiking or family or somebody that loves them, something.
Yeah.
It's like they're missing it in a lot of key aspects. And it's like recovery, the tools to stay sober would help anybody, especially
100%.
entrepreneurs.
100%. Yeah. Even if you say unmanageable over my anxiety, unmanageable over this, it's such a direct path to God. We're so blessed that they were designed for us, that we didn't have to rethink it,
Right.
Reinvent the wheel.
Right.
I agree with you. It would help anybody in any situation. At least get you to the next level where you had to go. You know what I mean? At least it'll get you off that cliff that you're about to jump off of. So GET's crushing it. you're in a different state of mind.
Went from selling clothes out of the trunk at an event to 41 states and 3 continents.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Isn't that
And you see,
something?
like, that's why I was like, in a heartbeat, people don't realize, like, you got to be a pro at networking. That's my
Yeah.
best skill, right? So I'm like, Jablin, what's up, man? Florida, ready to go. Jumped on a plane, no hesitation, almost like,
Yeah.
till like I meet the person I want to meet. I see other people doing things that I relate to or gravitate towards, and I'm like, how can I work with this person? How can I meet this person? I'll jump on a plane in a heartbeat.
Yeah. And then look what God did also, right? This week you're going to have Ross, you're going to have Kevin, and you're going to have Matt Williams.
Right.
Right. So it's
Went
just
from going down to meet a person I could tell I'd already be friends with to now I'm doing 4 podcasts in 3 days.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's the blessings. But one of the things that you shared with me privately, which I think it's really beautiful to talk about, is how I'd like for you to talk to the audience about fourth dimensions and what you and your fiance are doing. I find that really inspiring.
Yeah. So my fiance worked super hard, right? Bought a nice property where she's from in Harlan, Kentucky, and we worked on it for like 3 years to get it. We wanted it to be. I'm not opening till I would send one of my own family members there, right? Like in every aspect. And opened in July, going great. Helping just females, 8 and nothing like, you see like these treatment centers like cramming a bunch of people in and stuff. We literally, the max is 8. That way they can get quality care, 12-step facilitation. God, a couple of them just got saved recently. We got, like church groups coming in, bringing them to outside meetings. We're incorporating a lot of the stuff that you'd see like 6 months, a year, maybe in sobriety down the road, like early. Cause it's like, why not? Like, get a sponsor, like while you're in treatment, start working the steps, do all the tools that we know are going to work now. So that way you're that much better later.
Couldn't agree with you more. Why not?
Right.
Why not? You're setting them up for success.
Just like old school, like
I love it.
accountability,
I love it. But I think it's really important to talk about. Plus, you and I, time's going to go by.
Yeah.
And we're going to blink our eye. And we're going to be back together either at your wedding or 2 years from now. And we're going to look back on this video when it was recently open, helping 8 women. And, because with you and your fiance, who knows where the vision will go.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I wanted to bring that. And I think it's also important for people to hear that as aggressive and as disciplined and dedicated as an entrepreneur as you are, that you were able to say, it took us 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's like super hard work and consistency. And like I said, I'll give her props. She's done, 95% of it. And she's a licensed therapist. She's actually like boots on the ground, the therapist there. We got peer supports. We just got a driver. So now we're able to do transportation. I'm a targeted case manager and a peer support. We have a couple of we call them recovery apprentices now, because we actually had a couple of the ladies do good in the program and then actually stay on to give back and kind of, give them like a phase in between.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right.
A place to stay and you're growing it.
Right. Well, and it's like when you don't focus on money or you don't focus on anything, like we literally, bro, like I was telling you, is like, you want to talk about like being scared and stuff, you dump a ton of money into something and then don't see a return for months and months and months after be open. And it's like, it's just starting to, but it's like, I guess it's like that with anything, in the medical field. It takes a few months. And I've heard that from everybody.
I'm sure. I mean, you were educating me on it, and just hearing your knowledge, all the different tiers and the insurance companies, and it was overwhelming, but you obviously learned.
Oh yeah.
You learned on the go.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, giving her credit as well, doing everything. So instead of outsourcing all these different things, the credentialing, the billing, the getting like the alcohol and drug entity license, getting the behavioral health license. So this way you can do like co-occurring disorders and actually help them like across the board, and just getting all these licensures, CARF accreditation, which is like, it's an actual international accreditation for like, this is a legit facility to send somebody to.
Yeah.
And it's like just getting all these things in place, and it's a ton of work, man, but
it's amazing.
Now we literally know how to do all this stuff ourselves.
It's amazing. I got 3 more things I want to talk about, but so I'm going to go in order. So also, I know that you're starting your podcast.
Yes.
Right?
Get up.
Yeah.
Get up, baby.
Yeah.
The Get Up podcast.
So we got the podcast coming up, which I think is going to crush. Excuse me. I don't even like the language I used, which I know is going to crush.
Right.
You're also writing your memoir.
Yes. So I'm about 25 pages in to my memoir autobiography. Once again, open-minded. I don't know which one we'll call it, but
Amazing.
What is the actual difference
Amazing.
between a memoir and an autobiography?
You're asking the
It's
wrong-
almost like
I'm a kid from Jersey. What do
It's
you want
almost
from
like
me?
a synonym, right? I know. I'm from New York.
I like
don't
Superman.
know.
What do you?
Right.
What do I look like?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, what you do look like is a published author.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But there's a reason I'm building all of this up. And I may even leave something out, but Get Apparel, Fourth Dimensions Recovery, in school, just also got your master's.
Just got my bachelor's,
Just get your
got
bachelor's,
accepted
sorry.
into the master's. I'll start January.
Perfect.
I wanted to give myself a few months to start the podcast and write the book.
Love it. Okay, but still, already in motion. The podcast, the book, this sober life, right? Could you give the audience what a day is like in Adam Larkin? I mean, like, think about all of that at one time. Can you give them a day? What's a day in the life like?
So two things I left out was, so I'm also chief marketing officer for New Hope Counseling and Recovery.
Okay, we'll just
and,
keep adding
and
to
I'm
the list.
and I'm also a social media consultant for a bunch of different companies.
I love this.
So like turning, basically replicating what I did with all my socials and all my followings for other companies running their pages.
Amazing.
So obviously the cool thing about that is I can do it remotely unless I need to go there and film like we are here for them. And then I just go and film what we got to film or use footage they got and they just send it to me. Then from 9 to 5, I'll do New Hope, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
Get all the time, 24/7. I got it set up with USPS so I can ship 37 packages a day off my front steps without even leaving.
Amazing.
Yeah, I need to outsource that eventually, man, the shipping. It's like,
Eventually.
yeah, eventually. But
Yeah.
I mean, 37 a day is good for right now.
Yeah.
First off, wake up, prayer, meditation, gratitude. I even went back to old school, actually, like hitting my knees, which I didn't do for a long time. But I'm feeling more and more recently like, who am I? God's everything. The only reason I'm doing anything is because of God. So I'm trying to get my life back, and Adam will tell you, you can have, 19 years sober and still realize like you can learn something every day, always remain teachable, but I'm nothing without God, man. Like I wouldn't even be here.
Amen. And I'm really grateful that you mentioned the knees because when I tend to notice that I don't want to use the word rushing through my prayers, but I'm not as intentional. That's where the knees really kind of help me as well. It's like it's not even, and I'm just being honest with myself, by the way, it's not even so much about the humility. It's about this is what I'm doing right now. I'm focused on him and him only. So I'm grateful that you mentioned that. And I love everybody hearing, because they just heard we haven't gotten into the day yet, but with everything that you manage and everything that you run, what do you start with? Well, prayer, meditation, like it's still like the basics are the basics.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm not grateful and not in the zone before I start the day, and I'm really trying to do that now, you know how it is. Like sometimes before I get out of bed, I'll be emails or Facebook or, it's like, now it's the wrong thing. Like, don't even look at that. So now I started shutting my phone off at night, like not even totally off, in a different room. I go to sleep in a regimented, so I'll go to sleep at 11 p.m. I'll wake up naturally almost every day at 6. No alarm, nothing. I'll go turn my phone on. I'll be like, wow, I'm within like 4 minutes.
I love that.
So now I'm in that zone.
Yeah.
And I'll also do that with eating. So now I'm eating 11 to 7 as well, 11 to 6.
That's right. You mentioned that to me. Yeah.
So I don't eat till 11 a.m. and then I don't eat past 6 or 7.
Perfect.
And it's like I just get 2 good sized meals in that and I'm golden.
Yeah.
Like I don't need any more.
It's great.
And get a workout in. I hit the gym, trying to hit the gym 5 days a week. No matter what, non-negotiable, I'm getting at least like 10,000 steps in a day. Sometimes crazy mileage. Me and my brother went hiking recently, and just to see like what I could do in a day, because I actually had the time, I got 20 miles in.
Hell yeah.
So it was like 41,000 steps or something.
Hell yeah.
But so I'll hit the gym after New Hope, and then I was doing school. And then I'm just trying to work on other stuff like my book and the podcast and just launching other things. And it's like, I actually just did just did a reel. I think it was this morning I put it out, a little podcast reel. And I was like, the real work happens in between the 5 and the 9s.
I saw the 5
a.m. to 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So I'm New Hope 9 to 5, but I'm doing all these other different things. There's 8 more hours, man. It's like, people are like, oh, I think it was like a meme with like Don Draper from Mad Men.
Yeah.
He's like holding the glass. Like, I remember my first 40 hours. I remember my first part-time job.
Right.
It's like, bro,
exactly.
there's 16 hours in a day. Like, people are like complaining about their lives and whatnot. I was like, you could literally work an 8-hour job and then still have 8 hours to like do all these different things.
This is why you're going to be a great father. You're going to be a great father. Dude, thank you for coming. I'm humbled, but I'm also really grateful that you flew down to Florida.
Absolutely,
This
man.
has been amazing. We are going to go chop it up in the gym together.
Absolutely.
We're going to get it.
We're gonna go
get
get
in the
one
truck.
in. Yes. Get
All right,
get
guys.
motivated.
Perfect. Adam,
Appreciate you having me, brother.
God bless you, brother.
You too.
All right.